The hardest part of your fitness career is getting started. Truly, it's not the easiest thing in the world to go from a state of inactivity to a state of activity, especially if you don't have the knowledge and tools you need to pursue fitness. That is exactly what we're going to be covering in today's video. I'm going to be giving you a lot of things to help you get started with your fitness career and change your life for the better by bettering yourself. I'm going to be giving you a few things in today's video. For one, I'm going to give you some tips for getting started that can help you stay committed to fitness and get committed to fitness. I'm going to give you some myths you're going to want to avoid because some websites and videos tell you about them, but frankly, they're just lying to you. And we're going to talk about how to get started lifting and how to get started running or jogging or other forms of cardio. So we're going to do the tips, the myths, as well as lifting and cardio. And hopefully we'll be able to cover just about everything a beginner needs to know in today's video. We're going to talk about more advanced things later on, like how to improve speed and power output. But in today's video, just the beginning stuff, how to get started with your fitness journey. Step one for starting to get fit is super easy. Honestly, you don't even have to get up out of your seat to do it. You can do it from right where you're sitting, and I'm actually gonna have you do it in the comments section because this is gonna help you, trust me. You probably know what I'm gonna say here because, you know, every guide and every video that tells you how to get fit is gonna say to set a goal. But the thing they get wrong is they have you set a goal with numbers. If you're new to fitness, you don't know the numbers. So setting a goal like saying, I wanna lose 20 pounds by the end of the year isn't realistic because you don't know what your body is capable of. Or saying, I wanna be able to bench 350 pounds when you've never benched before, that's ridiculous. You don't want to put numbers on your goal if you're new to fitness. If you're a little bit experienced with fitness and you know what your body is capable of, be sure to put numbers in your goal. But right now I want you to make a goal, whether it be to lose weight, whether it be to gain like muscle mass or to tone your body, or whatever your goal is with fitness, I want you to leave a comment with it down below in this video. Tell me what your goal is. I would love to hear them all. I'm gonna go through them and I'm gonna read them and maybe give you some advice for your goal. And that's all you need to do. That is step one. Acknowledging what you want to get out of fitness, because you know fitness isn't this thing that you need to fear or dread. Ask anybody who is an athlete or someone who just regularly goes to the gym or runs, and 99 out of 100 of them will say they love it. Fitness is a part of their life. It betters their body and it makes you feel good in the end. While it may hurt in the beginning, fitness is something that once you get started with, you'll never put down for the rest of your life. And it is truly a wonderful thing. Let's move on to step number two. Step number two with fitness is gaining the knowledge you need to pursue it. Because, you know, if your goal is to lose weight and you just go outside and start running, that's not a good idea. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't understand it, you know, just going outside and running a few laps around your block, I mean, you might lose a little weight because of it, but you don't have the knowledge required. Lucky for you, there isn't too much you need to know. So we're gonna go into this portion of the video and talk about how to start lifting and how to start doing cardio. And then afterwards, we're gonna give you those tips and dispel some myths about starting fitness. We're gonna start right now with the basics of cardio and what you should know about cardio before you start it. A lot of people know different forms of cardio, but they don't know what cardio actually does to your body or how it works. Cardio is the act of performing medium or low intensity movements over a prolonged period of time, which will elevate your heart rate and raise your metabolism. And it's probably the most popular way people try to lose weight with. You know, you run for a long time, you burn a lot of calories, and your metabolism is raised for the next few hours afterwards. So you're gonna end up melting a little bit of fat off your body. But something a lot of people don't know is if you don't eat and diet right around it, cardio is actually going to eat away at your muscle mass as well. And we're not going to talk about that too much in today's video because it's not something major. It won't make you entirely skinny because, you know, we're just beginners. Remember, this is a beginner video. Just starting cardio isn't going to make you skinny. It's when you see distance runners like in track and field or cross-country runners, if you ever notice they are pretty scrawny dudes, it's because cardio actually eats away at muscle mass. So this is just a fact you should probably know before you start cardio. Now, this isn't something crazy you really need to worry about. Like I said, this is an advanced tip, and if you diet right and you combine this with other forms of exercise and you follow the tips I'm about to give you, you won't have to worry about losing muscle mass and becoming someone who looks anorexic. That's not the goal here. The goal is to lose weight with cardio and have a healthier heart, not to look like you're a twig. So, some things you should know about cardio. First of all, if you're new to cardio, there are two exercises I recommend for you. Either jogging or biking. Now, jogging jogging is by far the most popular form of cardio. Maybe, I guess, biking is also pretty popular too. Let's talk about jogging for a minute. What you're gonna wanna do as a beginner is jog for very short periods of time. I'm talking 10-minute jogs. If you've never jogged before, 10 minutes might actually kill you. Not actually, but it's gonna hurt. You know, getting through 10 minutes of jogging isn't gonna be easy. Go at a very slow pace. If you need to start walking, and then once you've established, you know, how far you can go or how fast you can go, try increasing your distance, or your time, or your speed. Any one of the three, depending on what you're basing it off. Some people run for distance, other people run for a certain period of time. Whatever you do, slowly try to increase it. The first few times you do this, your legs are gonna be sore the next few days. Really sore, actually. If you've never done jogging before and you jog for 10 minutes in a day, I promise you the next day, you're gonna feel like your legs are dying. You're gonna feel like you can't even walk. It's gonna hurt. I promise you this is gonna happen. But it will go away. I promise you that pain will go away. It could take between 3 and 7 days to go away the first time. As soon as the pain is gone from the first time you jog, do it again. And then that a length of time where you're sore will decrease until eventually you barely feel soreness the next day. You know, eventually you could jog every day once you get used to it. And that's what lots of people do. They jog every day. So the soreness you feel after a workout means a few things. Like I said, it's a good workout. It means you actually stressed your body enough to where your muscles broke down, and it will go away. Trust me.
Here's the proper form you're going to want to try to replicate when you jog. A few things you should note with this form are the runner is A, looking ahead, B, he is landing with the middle of his foot. You're not going to land with your heel and then roll to your toe, and you're definitely not going to land with your toe. You're going to keep your hands near your waist. Obviously, you want your left hand to raise when your right foot raises. You want your hands and arms to be alternating, and you want to stay relaxed. You don't want to stiffen up, especially your shoulders. You want them to stay relaxed, and you don't want to bounce. You want to jog. You want to kind of smoothly glide across the ground with all the tips I mentioned and not bounce.
Now let's talk about biking for a minute here. Biking is a little bit different. Biking is much easier than jogging. It's easier on your body. There's not a lot of impact. When you jog, you hit the ground. When you bike, you're slowly moving along. So the thing with biking is I recommend 30-minute bike rides for people who are new to biking. 30 minutes sounds like a lot, but trust me, biking is easy, like I said. You can definitely go for a 30-minute ride. The key here is gonna be speed when you're biking. Jogging, I said to go slow. Biking, you're gonna wanna move a little bit faster than the pace you would ride at just, you know, going to Walmart or something. If you're just, you know, your casual riding pace, I'd say go about 20% faster than that and try to keep that up for a full 30 minutes. And then the same tips apply to you as the people who are jogging. You might feel a little bit sore, but this is something you will get used to. And over time, I want you to increase your distance or your speed or something to make it more difficult. And then as you get better, you'll be able to go further, you'll be able to do this more, you'll get less sore, and it'll feel really good. Nutrition is key with cardio, so let's talk about what you should be eating before and after your cardio workout. This applies with all forms of cardio, biking, jogging, any of those things I mentioned. This applies to all of it. So what you're gonna wanna do is get carbs in your system before and after you do cardio. Carbs are the name of the game here. Now, the type and the amount of carbs is really gonna be the deciding factor of whether or not you're eating right. Candy bars are not a good source of carbs. You know, white bread, not a good source of carbs. Anything with processed sugars and anything that isn't a whole grain is a bad carb. What you want to be doing before you work out is eating some sort of sugar, usually from a natural source, like apples, bananas. Any sort of fruit is a natural form of sugar. When I say fruit, I mean raw, natural fruit. If the fruit has been processed and if it's been cooked, it's not going to be the same as natural fruit. Then it's basically candy. When you cook sugars from fruits, you raise the glycemic index and it makes it less of a healthy form of carbs. So what you want to do is, like I said, eat raw fruits, avoid the processed sugars, including granola bars. Granola bars are killer, guys. I swear it. Granola bars are not good for you. Most of them are just packed with sugar and they don't really have a lot of nutritional value. Even Cliff bars, which some people swear by, are really high in sugar. So unless you're an intense cardio freak and you need that much sugar, something like a Cliff Bar, something like, a Nature Valley granola bar. These are bad forms of sugar that you're going to be getting too much of. You don't want that much sugar. You can't go wrong with the natural stuff, so try fruits and whole grains, and that's what you should be eating. You should be eating these 1.5 to 2.5 hours before you work out and within 2 hours after you work out. And the reason these timings exist is because before you work out, you want to get some sugar in your bloodstream. You want to get a little bit higher of a blood sugar so your body has the proper fuel to actually get through the workout. And then afterwards, you've probably, used most of the sugar in your bloodstream and you want to replenish it. And carbs are going to help you do that as well. After your workout though, your meal after your workout, I actually recommend having a full meal after you work out for a few reasons. One, you will feel less hungry after you work out, so your meal will be a little bit smaller, which is good for weight loss. And two, because you also want protein. And if you're going to be eating carbs and protein, you might as well make it a meal. So before you work out, I recommend carbs in the forms I mentioned, and after you work out, I recommend carbs and protein. Try to avoid too much fat, although we're not going to go into too much depth about fat right now, but carbs and protein after you work out, carbs before. Now let's move on and talk about lifting. The thing about lifting is it's pretty complicated, and I'm gonna be making a lot of videos on it, as well as cardio too, but there's gonna be a lot of videos on lifting because there are so many different muscle groups in your body and so many exercises you can do, there's no way I'll be able to include them all in today's video. So this is just gonna be the basics of lifting, what you need to know, and how you can get started. Lifting compared to cardio is completely different. Lifting is short bursts of high energy, unlike cardio where you're expending a low amount of energy over a long period of time. If you think about it, when someone bench presses, they're putting out a lot of power in a very short period of time. And that's what lifting is. And through this action, you're gonna be gaining muscle. You're gonna be breaking down your muscles, and when they recover, they're gonna recover bigger and stronger than before. So if your goal is to gain muscle, lifting is for you. And if your goal is to lose fat, you should probably try cardio. And if you're really into fitness or you really want to change your body, a good combination of both can help you greatly. Let's talk about lifting in a very basic sense first and talk about something called splits. Splits are which muscles you work on different days. That way you can include almost all the muscles in your body every week with enough time to rest in between days. What I recommend for beginners, and this is for beginners, not for advanced lifters, is a 3-day split. You can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever 3 days of the week work for you. However, if you're only doing 3 days out of the week, I recommend always having a day in between them. At least a day in between, 2 days in between one of the set because there's 7 days in a week. And the 3 days I recommend you do as someone who is new to lifting are legs day, chest and triceps day, and then back and biceps day. And if you don't know what this means, I'm gonna explain it. This means on one of your 3 days, you are doing legs exercises, whether it be squats or lunges, any leg exercise you can think of, that is what you're doing on that day. Chest and triceps day means you're working those muscle groups, and the same goes for back and biceps. This includes basically all of the muscle groups in your body. It leaves out abs and shoulders. However, a lot of exercises you do will work abs and shoulders as well as the muscles you're trying to work, so both of them will be worked. You're not working either of them directly though, but as you become more advanced with your lifting and stronger, you can incorporate these later. There are a lot of guides online that show you how to do some very good exercises. Some basic exercises for legs include squats and lunges. Some good chest exercises include bench press, push-ups, as well as various tricep exercises you can look up online, and then various back and bicep exercises exist like curls, as well as various forms of pulls. And you can look all of these up or wait for my videos that will cover these in the not so distant future. But if you want to go start lifting right now, you can look up exercises. Just simply Google chest and triceps exercises and you'll get tons of stuff. I want to address a few things about lifting before we move on though. And the first thing we're going to talk about is gym intimidation, because I get this complaint a lot from new people who are new to lifting, because it can be kind of intimidating to go to a gym, especially if you're someone who's not necessarily in shape or as in shape as the people there. When you go to the gym, you see sometimes a lot of really fit, sometimes really big people doing lots of weights, running for very long periods of time, and it can be intimidating to not be able to do as much as these people. I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it. You know, first of all, you shouldn't really care about these people's opinions. They're random people, and you probably won't get to know 99% of them. So already you shouldn't really care what they think. But if you do care what they think, I'm here to give you some positive words of wisdom. They're not judging you. People in the gym, all the people I've experienced in the gym, with the exception of a few, are pretty nice people. People are nicer than lots of other people give them credit for. I've never gone into the gym and thought, wow, that guy's skinny. He's tiny. Look how tiny he is. Look at that. No, I don't do that. And a lot of people don't do that. Nobody I've talked to does that. When I see someone in the gym, if they're not as fit as me, first of all, I don't even look at how fit they are. I just think, you know what? Good for them. They're in here trying to better themselves. And that's it. There's no reason to be intimidated by gyms. And hopefully you'll be able to take that. And actually believe me on that, because 99% of people aren't going to judge you when they're in the gym. And if they do, it's going to be positive. They're going to think higher of you because of it. As far as nutrition goes, it's pretty similar to cardio. You're going to want to get some carbs in your system before you work out, as well as some carbs and protein after you work out. However, with lifting, you're going to want a lot of protein. If you want to build and maintain muscle, you need a lot of protein. So try eating things like lean meats. Vegetables are very good, especially ones high in protein, like beans, among other vegetables. The last piece of lifting advice I'd like to give you is about supplements. Now, I'm not going to go into details about supplements here. I'm just here to inform you that they exist. If you see people with shaker bottles in the gym, they probably have some form of either pre-workout, amino acid, protein, or creatine. Those are very popular supplements. And if you want to know more about these supplements, I'm actually going to be making a lot of videos about supplements. We're going to be doing the basics of supplements, a video about things like protein, creatine, pre-workout, and amino acids. And then we're going to break that down into like a whole video about everything you need to know about protein, creatine, and all these supplements. And then we might even go even further, and I might evaluate different brands of all these supplements in the distant future for that one. But just know supplements do exist. A lot of lifters like to use them, and they are out there. But as a beginner, you don't need to worry about them too much. I see people freaking out about supplements. They're not something crazy that you need to super worry about and go buy right now. Now let's move on to the tips and myths portion of today's video, starting with some tips. My first tip for you guys here today is drink more water. If you're like me or like the average person, you probably don't drink enough water. I make an active effort to try to drink more water, and I still personally don't think I get enough. How much exactly you should get in a day is debated by various research. However, I do know most people don't drink enough. So just try to make a conscious effort to drink a little bit more water. Maybe carry a bottle, like a reusable bottle around with you, and just sip on it throughout the day. Especially in the hours before and after, and even sometimes during your exercise, you're going to want to be hydrated. That way your muscles have the maximum potential for your exercise and your workout, because when they're dehydrated, they won't perform as well. My next tip is try to avoid your exercising and your working out between the hours of 2 and 4. If this is the only time for you, that's okay. Just beware, because 3 o'clock p.m., if you're on a normal schedule where you wake up fairly early in the morning and then you go to bed at a reasonable hour at night, 3 o'clock is the time where the human body gets most tired during the day, which means your exercises might be a little lackluster and you might not be able to get the energy needed to work out. Before 2 and after 4, you should be totally good, because, you know, the human body is weird. This is actually proven by research. If you want, I can try to find it and link it. Human body gets tired around 3 o'clock, the hours leading up to and after 3 o'clock. So if you try to work out then, it might not go the best for you. On top of that, let's move that into a myth, because I've heard a myth that states working out first thing in the morning is the best thing for your body, and it's the easiest way to stay dedicated to fitness. This is false. You don't really necessarily want to work out first thing in the morning for a few reasons. For one, your body hasn't gotten any fuel over the night. So what is your body going to use for energy? Well, some people think fat, when the reality is it actually uses muscles, and your workouts are going to be pretty painfully miserable because you don't have any energy in you. So if you're going to work out in the morning, be sure to eat something beforehand, because you need that energy, and you preferably need some carbs before you do so. The other reason I disagree with this myth is actually because it isn't necessarily easier to stay dedicated to working out when you do it in the morning. Everybody's different. I prefer working out at night. Like, 8 p.m. at night sometimes. And I just enjoy it most then. I personally like exercising at night. If you like it in the morning, that's totally fine. Just make sure you eat first. If you like it midday, that's totally fine. Just try to find a time that works for you. Morning isn't necessarily the set rule and the best way. The next myth I'd like to dispel is that you can burn fat on your body by working areas around it. Effectively, you can spot reduce your fat. This means if you have fat around your stomach, you can do abs to get rid of it. This is false. This is not true at all. I've heard so many people like, dude, I got some fat around my abs, so I went and I killed it, did a bunch of crunches, and I'm feeling good. I think I'm gonna have a six-pack tomorrow morning. That's not how it works at all. Your body burns fat equally throughout your body. The reality is you actually can't control where your body burns fat. It groups up on different people in different places. For me, my fat burns up right around here. For some people, I've seen their back stores most of their fat. You can't choose where your body stores fat, and you also can't choose when your body burns fat. You just burn it and your body chooses where it takes it from. So the best way to burn fat around your stomach is still gonna be cardio, even though you're working your legs. That's how fat burn works. The last myth we're gonna talk about today is regarding the fruit I talked about before, because I said fruit was a good fuel for workouts. Fruit is a good fuel for workouts. It's got some pretty healthy sugars. However, you don't need to eat it in excess. And if you're not working out in a day, you don't want to be eating apples on apples and bananas on bananas because there's still a lot of sugar in those. And even though this sugar is probably the best sugar for you, it's still sugar. And the human body doesn't need nearly as much sugar as people like to get. So when you're eating fruit, remember to do it in moderation. An apple before and an apple after you work out is great. 2 apples in a day you're not working out is maybe a bit excessive. 2 apples is fine, but if you eat just excessive amounts of fruit and sugary things, no matter what sugar it is, too much is too much. So beware. Before we go, I'm gonna hit you with one last tip. Stop drinking anything with sugar in it. Anything with sugar in it. If it's a drink and it's got sugar in it, cut it out of your diet. It's the easiest way to start trimming off fat. Sodas, get rid of them. Coffee with sugar in it, take the sugar out. Even take the cream out. All right, maybe not crazy, but take the sugar out of your drinks. It'll help you immensely, and it's not that hard to do. You can substitute it with other things. You know, you can drink, there are good things to drink without sugar in them. Mio is a good substitute. There are some artificial sweeteners like stevia you can have. Just beware, don't have too much artificial sweeteners either, because, you know, I don't think there's much research done on them. We don't know the long-term effects of artificial sweeteners yet, so it is something you should be aware of. But just try to take out sugar drinks, and it's gonna help you greatly. Hopefully this video was helpful to you all, and you're all gonna be able to start getting fit and ready to work out. I'd love to hear any feedback you have on this video. As you can see, I have a green screen behind me. It doesn't actually work. I just figured this was better than the plain wall I was in front of. If you have any comments on the format of this video or something you'd like to see more of, like if you would like background music or you'd just rather not have background music, tell me that as well. I'd love to hear your opinions. Be sure to leave a sub and a like down below if you guys enjoy this video. I've got a lot more coming, both beginner and advanced tips, so it should be a pretty fun time. I'll see you guys all later. Lone Hawk out.